Yo,
Yo,
we on?
uh, looks like we're on.
Awesome.
What
All
up, yo?
right. So we just had another debate night.
Yeah, I'm sick. Super sick debate.
Um,
Um,
after like the way the last one went, there was it seemed yeah, you're gonna play your theme music. Well, uh, it seems appropriate. Kamala, just being honest, she had a pretty good night against Pence.
yeah, no, she was better than I thought she would be. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I was just um, like so annoyed by Pence that like her fact checking him at all
Yeah.
was badass. But I mean,
Well, look, Kamala for me, she's always been better when she's on the attack, where she
yeah,
suffers
when
where they
she's like
call into her record.
prosecuting, yeah,
Yes, yes, and she's done that when been in those Senate hearings. When she's gone after one of her best debate moments was against Biden, where she did this whole setup, but it was very prosecutorial. The problems that she had, the things that they're gonna call her out on, that Pence will call her out on, are not gonna bother anybody. It's not gonna. Pence isn't gonna turn around and have like a Tulsi moment about your nonviolent drug offenders and all the horrible things on Kamala's
he
record.
tried to though.
I mean,
He did. He hit it on mass incarceration.
how is he gonna hit her on mass
Oh,
incarceration?
we got our
Well,
first comment. Raquel
excuse me.
Elizabeth says fuck Kamala.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
that's
I don't
my
know
that's my
Raquel though.
sister. Yeah, that's
Oh,
my sister.
oh, word. I
Yeah.
mean, I thought she was look. She was the least annoying. I was the least annoyed by her that I've ever been probably tonight.
Well, look, I'm not gonna pretend I'm a Kamala fan,
No, but
but when you have her next to Pence, Pence has the misfortune of being born with no personality.
I
So,
mean,
Kamala can talk. She has a little bit more of charisma than he does. So, of course, you have those little moments that she throws in where she's her cocky self and she's like,
yeah, those
"Oh
were
yeah,
actually my
sure,
least
I'd like
favorite
to
parts.
reply." And
Yeah, no,
or how are they doing that chuckle thing that you were
chuffing.
talking me? Yeah, chuffing. It was a bunch of chuffing.
They were both doing
It was
it, like while
happening
the
on
other
both
one was
sides.
talking. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. It was like a chuff off. Like they
And
were
and
like
and of
back and
course the
forth.
head shake, the head shake. Yeah,
Yeah, I thought those were my least favorite parts. Like
yeah,
she's gonna lock
those
up
were on
more
both
black
sides
people
of
than
the.
Trump ever would. I mean, that's not true. Like
Well, okay, so when it comes to that, um,
they'll probably lock
Trump,
up similar numbers of black people. I don't think
yeah, I
it's
mean it's at
like
least a decent competition. I'd say.
she said ban private prisons. That was pretty. I
Yes.
don't remember them saying that before, but that's pretty badass. Like
Yeah. No,
that
I
was a
mean,
good rule they said. Like
no. With Kamala, her big records or the big stains on her record were dealing with the marijuana nonviolent drug offenders, locking them up, the death penalty guy, the one that was on death row, and then the suppressing
yeah,
evidence. The firefighters, one keeping them incarcerated to put out the California
yeah.
wildfires. That's another one. But again, are, is
Those
Pence
are
really going to
all
go and
like
advocate that people that were arrested for marijuana convictions should be freed?
no, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
He's not going to do that.
She
He's
named
going to
like
go.
I thought she was gonna say qualified immunity. I was like, come on, say it, say it, say it. Because I was
Well, look.
watching the Arizona Senate debate last night,
Uh,
and Mark Kelly said qualified. He's like, we're gonna have to have a discussion about qualified immunity or something, like
right.
which was good. I hadn't heard too many normie Dems talking about that, and like she had. What did she say? She had chokeholds. Let's see if we can
Mhm.
find that clip. Let's talk about that one
But
first.
like, wait. First, put up this meme though. My girlfriend just sent me this. Just to, I thought it was pretty funny because it's one of the moments of the night.
Where is it?
But it's the last bookmark.
Um, I don't know. Like, yeah, I didn't like when she was being sassy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think the Yes Queen moments were the most cringe for me, but I know the K Hive must have loved it. I know,
yeah.
Wine Moms must have
They're
loved
so
it.
dumb though. Like I liked when she was talking about policy, right? Like
Yeah, and this was actually the most policy oriented I've seen
yeah,
her.
and exactly because I'm telling you, there was that focus group study, that big report
Uh,
that came out like a few days ago, and it was
People want more
showing.
substance.
Well, it was showing like the best. I think it was for ads, and it was showing like the best positive negative flip correlation or
Mhm.
whatever,
Right.
and just at the top of the list was like healthcare, like I forget what else was on there, but it was all like climate change. It was all like policy shit, and then like way down at the bottom, it was like Russia and a few other things had like negative return on
Right.
investment. Like, see, here's the thing, Raquel. Like, I think like she is going to continue sort of like the neoliberal strain of privatization with prisons and mass incarceration. But like
Hmm.
so much of Trump's agenda, like he's boys with those prison industrial complex people. Like those were one of they funded his campaign like before he had any like big
They
corporate
really did.
sponsors. Like
Yeah,
the
they
whole
really did.
border
He did
thing
get a lot
is
of
a
funding from all
scam
that.
for them. Like a
Hmm.
much of that is it's like how do I do some brutal shit at the border and find out how to give as much money away to my homies in that industry. So like they're gonna do
Yeah.
it system like they're gonna perpetuate it's like I would see them as their policy is more like an acceleration beyond the terrible shit they did in California when Kamala was AG. Like, yeah,
Yes.
it's shitty, but like you can't even compare that to kind of like mass produced mass incarceration.
Right, and it's completely industrialized when you have that much of an association between the private prisons and the person that's in charge of law enforcement in the country, which essentially that's what Trump is.
Yeah,
So,
either person we
that
choose is going to be a tough 4 years. Exactly. This is not.
exactly.
It's just
So,
I.
you got that?
Oh. That's not funny.
Oh, come on! I thought it was funny. Maybe it's just me, but so there was a moment during the debate that's
Um,
kind of gone viral
Yeah, that's what I'm
with.
saying. All that cheesy stuff I don't like. I like my favorite parts were when they were discussing shit. Like,
But I like all those cheesy jokes. Maybe it's just me and my girlfriend, but yeah, it was funny because this is a point where I think he was going on about the environment, right? So he's middle of lying, saying about, oh, Kamala, you want to ban fracking? You're
look at this
such a
comment.
liberal. You're such part of the radical left. You're the most left center. And then meanwhile, while he's all talking all this crap, freaking fly lands on his, and it's so noticeable. And you can see
Yeah,
his hair is so damn white.
yeah. Trump's gonna get mad about that.
I I don't know.
Did
That
it
can't
fly
be funny.
away? I forget what happened.
No, it stood there for like 2 minutes.
I
It
know,
was
but then what
ridiculous.
happened?
Like,
Did he eventually swat it aside?
no, he never noticed it. It just decided he got bored. It was, I don't know. Maybe the COVID Mike Pence is probably carrying got him. So, there was probably flies have some attraction to it. Look, I got the full video there, bookmark too, bro.
Did I add that? I'm trying to add the. There's a comment to add the comments.
Uh huh.
I don't know if that puts them on the screen or what. Raquel, is that on the screen? Your comment?
Yeah, if you put the comment on there, it'll stay there on overlay until you take it off.
Okay. Oh, I can write on it too?
Yeah. We are still learning the software, but we are getting better at it. Um, Good thing my boy over here is a DJ, so he's used to going and switching between a few things.
Does that say
But
butt stuff? Cool.
yeah. All right. So yeah, put up that first clip, the one I put from C-SPAN where the fly lands on.
Did the pundits say anything about it? Did you see?
The which one?
Were like the TV pundits talking about the fly?
I don't know. I know Twitter's talking about the fly. I mean, I
Yeah.
think. I mean, as far as debate performances, I'm not sure how much that hurts him.
I
Like, I
mean,
think, but look, I'm talking about like the point of it being is that Pence was so insufferable with the crap that he was spewing out there.
yeah, man.
Most of it was made up. Most of it's not true. He's been complicit. He was the head of the task force for COVID, and it's blown up in our collective faces because of, in part, his mishandling. So while he's going over there talking about all this shit, fucking fly lands on him like the piece of shit that he is.
Yeah. Piece of shit memes. Um, which one?
The C-SPAN one.
Did you bookmark it?
Yeah, it's bookmark.
Do you think Pence has the Rona?
I mean, look, everybody else got it. I don't know
Is
how he
this?
evaded it. Not like he was wearing a mask either.
Check out this comment.
Where we got.
I don't know if that's to Pence. I think it's to Pence.
What does it say?
Young man, I was once in your shoes. I said I was. I don't know what voice to read it in. I don't know if it's supposed to be a sexy voice or if it's supposed to be like. Aren't you watching? Don't you have the YouTube video up?
Yeah, but remember it's on a delay, so you got to go and lead in those introductions when you put those things on the screen.
I don't see that bookmarked C-SPAN video.
Yeah, it's a C-SPAN video. It's it's closer to the Pope one. We got to give props to the Pope at one point on our show.
No, man, the top one I have. What the hell?
No, it's further down.
I'm not. Oh, it's further down?
Yeah.
Radical left Democrats.
Well, that's a wait. So that's part of Trump's strategy
Okay.
that he's had, right? So Pence, of course, played right into it.
That's like their only strategy, because every policy they support is unpopular, and it's bizarre. Like we keep saying, like they don't like business. Like business interests wouldn't necessitate supporting all of those policies. Like some of them, are like they're just weird, bad shit that like Trump like got roped into supporting, and then they won't back down because it's not like because he's alpha, like
Yeah. You got it now?
Yeah.
Tell you this presumption that you hear consistently from Joe Biden and Kamala Harris that America is systemically racist, and that, as Joe Biden said, that he believes that law enforcement has an implicit bias against minorities, is a great insult to the men and women who serve in law enforcement. I want everyone to know President Trump and I
It was like right on cue as soon as he started talking about cops.
That when Senator Tim Scott tried
to the men and women in law enforcement, and then the fly fell on his head.
Republicans and
You
Democrats,
see what I'm talking about, bro? It's just so ironic when things just start
room.
landing on him.
And then you filibustered Senator.
Yeah, I remember he flipped us around, bro.
Scott's
The
bill
video
on the
stuff.
Senate floor that would have
Tim Scott's bill is a fucking joke.
Resources. But we don't have to choose between supporting law enforcement, improving
But
public safety,
I mean,
supporting
the
our African
the thing that I was
neighbors,
that I also
all of
paid
our
attention to
minorities,
during the
under
debate because I
President
knew they were
Trump's
gonna ask
leadership,
because
always stand with law enforcement.
media
We
made a
will
big
do
story about
what
this
we
all week,
want
and
to
to be
do
fair,
to
even
improve
independent
the
media
lives of
it caught
African-Americans.
it was the debate moment against Biden where they asked, "Will you ensure a transfer of power if you lose?" Right? They're making a big deal about it, and today Trump went and tweeted. I think that's the first bookmark we got up there. Was now that the radical left Democrat, this is all caps by the way, now the radical left Democrats got caught cold in the non-friendly transfer of
Dude, what the hell
government.
is he talking about there?
In fact, they spied on my campaign and went for a coup. We are entitled to ask the voters for 4 more years. Please remember this when you vote. So he's he's saying there, from what I'm gathering, it like maybe it's just me, but he's saying that because the Democrats tried some shit, he's entitled to stay in office regardless of what happens.
The Krasenstein brothers.
I, I mean, how would you take that?
Yeah, it's like a badly worded threat of some sort.
Yeah, that's kind of what
I
I
came
think
back
it
from
is.
the video. I came back from the video eating this fucking badass candy apple, and your sister commented on it.
Yeah, I got my beer. He got his candy apple. But no, so he does that weirdly worded threat, which I think
He's trying to say
he still
like
hasn't
like
he still hasn't said that he would go ahead and concede if that's what happened. I mean, I don't think he's ever gonna say that. And then I thought Pence might give a more diplomatic answer, but what he did was he just completely avoided the question.
yeah.
He just went and said, "Well, first of all, I'm sure we're gonna win."
Yeah.
And then after that, he went about talking about this whole made up scandal. They're trying to manufacture a scandal. That's why it doesn't make any sense.
What, the
Yeah,
Obama thing?
yeah, the Obama FBI
But
thing. I mean,
isn't that
look, at that
real
point,
though? I mean, isn't that realer than Russiagate though?
yes, it's realer than
But it's
Russiagate. It's
still,
not
it's like
like
not like an electoral issue. Like,
no, but they're trying to manufacture a scandal. They're desperate at this point. Like, let's be real. The last few polls have him down way further than he was against Hillary.
all he has to do is start giving people money. I don't understand.
You
Like,
think that would even work at this point for a lot of people?
I mean, it would be better than what they're doing now.
No, I mean it would be, but their strategy has been twofold. They're trying to go ahead and manufacture scandal against Biden and Harris, and then they're trying to tie them into the radical left, which just makes them sound cooler. Like for a while there, where I'm looking at Pence talk about, oh, Senator Harris, you were in favor of the Green New Deal. And I'm like, wait, what? Really? Like if I didn't know any of this shit, I would be like, the Green New Deal, she likes that.
You
And then the
think
next
though?
thing, yeah, I mean the next thing on there was tying her to AOC. And yeah, I'm sorry we bring up AOC again, bro, but if there was this moment there in the debate where she's saying, "Yeah, you were the first to sign on to AOC's Green New Deal,"
Which
and
one?
then
Let's see.
yeah, and AOC responded to to that
Let's
where
watch the
she of course
CBS
had to
one.
go in because I mean she's not gonna go. Which one are you
Let's watch
playing?
the clip first. This is the
All right,
CBS
cool.
one.
Yeah, it should be.
Senator Harris just said that climate change is an existential threat. Vice President Pence, do you believe that climate change poses an existential threat?
Oh, it froze.
Uh,
Wait.
As I said, Susan, the climate is changing. We'll follow the science. But once again, Senator Harris
I feel like that was edited.
is denying the fact that they're going to raise taxes
what
on
do
every
you mean?
American. Joe Biden said twice in the debate
Climate
last week
change. Yeah, we gotta
that
listen to
they
the
thought
scientists.
was going to
Those guys want to
Yeah.
raise your taxes.
cuts.
Yeah,
Those
that's
tax cuts
exactly what
delivered
he actually makes a
$2,000 in
claim
tax
that the
relief
Republicans are
to
listening
the
to
average
scientists when
family
it comes to
across
climate change, which
America.
they're
With
not.
regard to
That's
banning
what they
fracking, I
do.
just
They just
recommended
pivot
Pence
to tax
look at the
cuts
record.
and the
You yourself
troops.
said repeatedly
Every
Yeah,
that
and
you would
single
see,
ban
question.
fracking. You
what
were the
Pence
first
did
Senate
was he
co-sponsor of the
made up
Green New
this,
Deal.
he
And while Joe
recycled that
Biden
same right wing
denied the Green New
argument
Deal,
where
Susan, thank
the
you for
climate is
pointing out
changing,
the Green
but
New Deal is on their campaign
we just
website.
aren't sure about the
And as
cause.
USA Today said,
Like, if
it's
it's not
essentially
caused
the
by
same
people, I
plan
mean, by now
as
the
you
consensus is clear.
co-sponsored with
Scientifically,
AOC when
yeah,
she
people are
submitted it in
causing
the
the
Senate.
climate to change.
Yeah.
And you just heard the senator
That's
say
not
that
a
she's going
hill
to
to go ahead
resubmit
and keep
America
dying
to the
on,
Paris
but that's
Climate.
what they did. And then on top of that, they made it okay. So the way the Green New Deal thing came up was because Pence tried to go and pivot to jobs and
Yeah, I'm
saying
playing the
the Green
clip.
New Deal is going to cause so many
Yeah, let
jobs.
me play the clip. You keep talking over it.
All right, well, that.
Would ban fracking. You were the first Senate co-sponsor of the Green New Deal. And while Joe Biden denied
Green
the
New
Green New
Deal.
Deal, Susan, thank you for pointing out The Green New Deal is on their campaign website. And as USA Today said, it's essentially the same plan as you co-sponsored with AOC when she submitted it in the Senate. And you just heard the senator say that she's going to resubmit America to the Paris Climate Accord. Look, the
people
American
like
people
these
have
things.
always cherished our environment. We'll
Exactly.
continue to cherish it. We've made great progress reducing CO2 emissions through American innovation and the development of natural gas through fracking. We don't need a massive $2 trillion Green New Deal that would impose all new mandates on American businesses.
It's a lot more than
and
$2 trillion.
American families.
Thank you.
Joe Biden wants us
Thank
to
you, Vice
retrofit
President.
4 million
Thank you, Vice
American
President.
business buildings. It makes no sense. It will cost jobs. President Trump.
He wants to
Thank you, Vice
retrofit
President.
buildings and that'll
America
cost
first. He's gonna put
jobs?
Jobs first, and we're going to take care of our environment and follow the science.
Thank you, Vice President.
No, I mean, that's not her answer.
Yeah, no, that's not what she didn't say. AOC, he did,
Yeah. I want,
right?
does she say anything about the jobs, though? I don't remember if she did. She should have said climate change plans have a lot of jobs involved.
Yeah, I didn't even catch. I can't remember right now exactly. I mean, she had a pretty decent response about the climate change. She danced around the Green New Deal. She denied, she didn't come up and throw a full throat support of AOC and the Green New Deal in response to that, which would have been the move to do. But look at what Pence went ahead and said. These shots that he's taking, they're not appealing to anybody, I don't think, when you talk about the Paris Climate Accord, right?
Yeah.
People like that.
Yeah.
People like the Climate Accords. It was a popular policy,
Yeah.
right? And then you talk about the Green New Deal that has a favorable policy among the American people too.
Yeah.
And then AOC has net favorables. So why are you tying Kamala to AOC? You're making her rep look better.
That's all they got, man. I'm telling you, that's what all the Republicans are going to say.
It's the political equivalent of cheddar bobbing yourself. This is exactly what he did.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, it just helped Kamala do better tonight to go and have to deal with those kinds of criticisms as opposed to actual criticisms of her record.
Well, I don't know what there is to criticize about her record from their point of view. She seems to be,
Yeah, I mean that's the point. Well, AOC did.
Hold on, I gotta plug this in.
All right. Well, AOC did end up responding, and she ended up tweeting out that the Green New Deal has been lied about nonstop, and yet it's still popular. And it's a massive job creation and infrastructure plan to decarbonize and increase quality of work and life. It's okay to call the GOP out on those lies, just as we call them
you want to
out
watch her tweet?
on their other lies.
So those principles go down to 3 things. 1, a 10-year timeline for decarbonization. So the Green New Deal is a resolution on the floor of the House. And what it does is that it outlines specific principles by which our climate policy.
The internet's slow down here.
By which our climate policy should be executed. And so those principles go down to 3 things. 1, a 10-year timeline for decarbonization. 2, making sure that we are creating jobs in any climate legislation. And 3, that we are centering and focusing on disproportionately
what's
impacted
his deal? He's like,
those are not hard to do. And so far, we already have several breakaway pieces of legislation addressing everything from public housing, electric vehicles, and also, issues like mass transit.
So you broke it into small, little, fun size chunks.
Yeah, exactly.
So
the Green New Deal is a resolution on the floor of the House. And what it does is that it outlines specific principles.
It just seems like his kind of attitude is sort of like, oh, that's cute that you want to do this, this good policy to change
that's the
things.
attitude they give AOC when it comes to most of the stuff she pushes for anyway.
I remember during the primary, it's like every time he gets, I don't know, he's just like kind of a lib, I guess. It's like he's.
No, I mean definitely is, but I think he's funny.
He just seems to be more like mocking the left than embracing the left.
Well, I mean, AOC did take. I mean, she retweeted that out there. She tweeted that out there when as soon as Pence mentioned it, and then she went and did her play to the libs because they like that yes queen shit where she put, for the record, Mike Pence, it's Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez to
I
you.
mean, that's pretty badass, though.
I mean, that's why I think she has enough leftist clout that people will be like, all right, yeah, that was pretty cool. But then I think the libs like that yes queen shit too.
Yeah, well, it's got like 500,000 likes already, almost.
Yeah, 500,000 likes on that, which I mean, the Republicans chose to do this with her specifically, where they attack her and they just elevate her platform. They're trying to turn her into like the demon
I don't know if that's true.
leftist
Like,
lady.
I mean,
They're making her like the poster girl of the left, of the radical left, and it's like she's just
if
doing everything she can with it.
if they're all
Every
just competing over that sliver of like,
uh
you know, like boomers and Gen X, like, you know, like white people in the suburbs, like I don't know if it'll have any kind of net effect, right? Like, I don't know if you're going to turn any of them off, and I don't know if you're going to like convince anybody who's not already convinced, right? Like, you're not going to, like, weren't we saying this the other night too? Like,
mhm,
you're not going to, it's that whole attack, like she's too far left or whatever, like the
uh
implication is, which is basically what all the Republicans are going on. Is
right.
they call you a radical and then pivot to the troops and tax cuts. That's going to be the standard Republican fare from now on. I mean, it's always has been, right? But especially now, all of their policies are bad. They don't have any popular policies. They don't support anything. Like in
No, but
2016, it was different. So Pence
uh
has to go up there, and there's nothing he can really say. Like, what's he going to say? Like, we're gonna lock up more Mexicans. Like, what is his? Like, they keep doing the
well,
China shit, but I
yeah,
don't know if
they
anybody
keep
really wants to fight China, right?
no, but the other part that they did bring up with China during the debate was the whole trade war, and then Kamala pointing out that they lost the trade war,
Yeah, that was a
and
pretty
then
good
Pence,
part.
yeah, I mean Pence was over here saying, "Well, you didn't even fight it." I swear, like he does his best Ronald Reagan every time he talks.
Let's see.
What else you got for us?
Um, let's see, coronavirus stuff.
Yeah, that was a
Let's
good
watch
part
this.
though.
Let's watch this part.
All right, what you
This
got?
election integrity.
Biden is declared the winner in
Oh,
President
What the hell?
and responsibility as vice president. What would you personally do? You have to.
Well, Susan, first and foremost, I think we're going to win this election because while Joe Biden and Kamala Harris rattled off a long litany of the establishment in Washington, D.C., and establishment that Joe Biden's been a part of for 47 years, President Donald Trump has launched a movement of everyday Americans from every walk of life. And I have every confidence that those same Americans that delivered that historic victory in 2016, they see this president's record, where we rebuild our military, we revive our economy through tax cuts and rolling back regulation, fighting for fair trade, unleashing American energy. We appointed conservatives to our federal courts at every level. And we stood with the men and women of law enforcement every single day. And I think that movement of Americans
What is he saying?
for you. When you talk about accepting the outcome of the election,
I mean, do you see what he did?
Senator,
What did he say?
Party has spent the last
He's not even answering the question.
results of the last election.
Yeah,
You see, that's what I told you that he did
that's a
when they
pretty
asked
good
him.
response though from him.
I mean, but he's not answering the question.
President Trump and my campaign. I mean, there were documents released this week. The CIA
I mean, it's a question about election integrity.
Hmm. He takes a shot at the whole universal vote by mail, saying this is leaves the door open for massive fraud. Voter fraud's not a thing. Statistically,
Yeah,
at the scale that people vote, it's negligible. Even if in the
yeah,
rare instances that it occurs, it's hard. It's what I kept saying last time. It's hard enough to get people off their ass and out the house to vote.
yeah.
People are not going to be.
No, yeah, it's absolutely insane that there'd be enough of it to swing the election in any way.
Yeah, I mean, millions of false votes because, yeah, please get out of here. And
Um,
well, I mean, the other part here that I think Kamala did her best on, or she really made the best of this part, was with the COVID stuff.
oh yeah, what you talk about there?
I think got the clip on there, the CBS one. Kamala addresses COVID in the first debate question. So they opened it up with that question, and I mean, it's it had to be after Trump went ahead and got sick, right?
Fucking Trump. Trump.
States have had more COVID cases under control.
But
Over the past
even
week,
though that's a
Johns
layup
Hopkins
topic
reports
at this
that
point, when you have over
39 states have
200,000
had
people who
more COVID
died,
cases over the past.
and there's no real good answer Trump can give
7
back to
days
that.
than in the week
The
before.
go-to was
9
swine
states
flu,
have set new
which
records.
doesn't
Yeah.
make any
Even if a
sense.
vaccine is released soon,
You
the next
swine
administration will
flu,
face
comparing swine
hard
flu to
choices.
corona
What would a Biden
is
administration
it's
do
not
in
even on
January
the
and
same
February?
scale.
Yeah,
We're
it's
talking
ridiculous.
about
Administration
15,000
wouldn't
people
do.
passed
Would
away
you
from
impose
swine flu.
new
We're at
lockdowns for businesses and schools and
215,000
hotspots?
roundabout.
A federal mandate
200,000
to
more
wear
people
masks?
died.
You have 2
And
minutes to respond.
this is the guy that was in
without
charge of the
interruption.
task
Thank you,
force.
Susan.
Yeah, man.
Well, the
So
American people
You
have
didn't do
it's
jack
witnessed
shit.
what is the
yeah,
greatest
of course
Hold on,
not.
let's
failure
let her talk.
of any
All
presidential
right.
administration in the history of our country.
Would she say the greatest
And here are the
failure?
facts. 200 country.
The greatest failure of any
And here are the
presidential
facts.
administration in American history.
210,000 dead people in our country in just the last.
Respond without interruption.
Thank you, Susan. Well, the American people have witnessed what is the greatest failure of any presidential administration in the history of
I
our
think
country.
she might. I don't know.
And here are the facts.
I guess
210,000 dead people in our country.
excluding
in just the
war.
last several months. Over 7 million people who have contracted this disease.
I mean,
One in
from a
5
disease
businesses
standpoint,
closed.
Definitely from
We're looking at
like I said,
frontline workers who
biggest
have been
disaster
treated
outside of
like
war,
sacrificial
outside of
lambs.
foreign policy.
We are looking at over
Well,
30
We killed so
million
many people in the Cold War.
who in the last
no, I mean
several
that's
months
true. I mean,
had to
we were
file
talking
for
about
unemployment.
the
And here's the thing.
imperialism and all that kind of
On
stuff, but
January 28th,
as far as just completely
the vice president and
botching
the
a
president were
situation,
informed about the nature of this pandemic.
because
They
that's
were
what it
informed that
is.
it's lethal
Because
in consequence,
and
that it is
Kamala
airborne,
really did hammer these
that it
points
will affect
home
young
in a
people,
good way when she
and
said
that it
All right,
will
let her finish
be
talking.
January
contracted because it is
What's up?
airborne. And they knew what was happening and they didn't tell you. Can you imagine if you knew on January 28th, as opposed to March 13th, what they knew, what you might have done to prepare? They knew and they covered it up. The president said it was a hoax. They minimized the seriousness of it. The president said, you're on one side of his ledger if you wear a mask, you're on the other side of his ledger if you don't. And in spite of all of
What
that,
does that
today
mean?
they still don't have a
What?
plan. They still don't have a plan. Well, Joe Biden does. And our plan is about what we need to do around a national strategy for contact tracing, for testing, for administration of the vaccine, and making sure that it will be free for all. That is the plan that Joe Biden has and that I have, knowing that we have to get a hold of what has been going on, and we need to save our country. And Joe Biden is the best leader to do that, and frankly, this administration has forfeited their right to re-election.
Yeah, man. Yes, Queen. Well, this is pretty edgy tweet from CBS.
Would it? I mean,
Asked if he sees
read it
climate
up.
change as an existential threat, Mike Pence replies, "The climate is changing. We'll follow the science."
Then repeating a false claim that Joe
Yeah.
Biden is planning to raise taxes. I mean, he already said that his benchmark for the raising taxes is people over 400,000.
They know that. He's fucking lying. That's what Republicans do. They lie about
That's
shit.
what they always do. They take shots at the taxes. He goes and reiterates about the Trump tax cut, which is ridiculous because working families did not benefit more anywhere close to what the rich benefit.
87% of the benefits went to the top 1%.
87%
Fucking
of
Kyle
that
says it like every
2.4
episode.
whatever is bullshit. Yeah, 87%. No, it's a important number to remember. 87% of those tax cuts always go to the rich one. I mean, and that's always the go-to because people just hear tax cuts and think less money out my paycheck, but that's not the way it works.
Yeah.
And besides that, Kamala and Biden, they're not going to raise prefer the what do you call it, the one that the tax they put on stock interest and stock gains,
Capital
gains
gains?
tax, right? They're not going to raise taxes on capital gains. I know that they're not going to input a full
I mean, they
tiered
said they
system
were.
on it.
I
They're not going to do it.
Donald Trump is in court right now trying to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. And I said it before, and it bears repeating.
Why wouldn't they do that though? That's a good one to do. They can get away with that one. They're not going to raise
No, I'm
taxes
sure.
on
No, I'm
like.
saying it would be a good one to do, but I just don't think they're going to do it.
That's the kind of. They're definitely going to raise taxes a little bit. Like
Okay. This is what they're going to do. What are the taxes? They dropped them down to like 25% for the top marginal rate, right?
yeah, 23% I think, and they're going to
Yeah.
raise them back to like 28.
When they were like 35%
I know.
before Trump took over, and they're going to put them at 28. Like
Yeah.
what the?
I think
that's an improvement. That's still a 7% tax cut.
which is exactly what Kamala should say, right? Which is what I don't get. Is like they just pivot instead of being like, no, this is how taxes work. Like when you make this much
Yes.
money, like that, just explain that to people. It's like we don't have to fucking like pretend that like the Ronald Reagan shit is still a thing. Nobody cares
No.
about the deficit. That's not something anybody's interested in.
No, and I mean by now we know the deficit is bullshit. Look what they did.
Yeah.
The stock market was in free fall. They threw trillions from the Fed every day, spending with both hands to keep their fucking stocks alive.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we talking about? Really, deficits and all this other kind of crap? You make up money when it comes to saving your stock portfolio.
Yeah. Fucking. Joe Biden's gonna start that shit if he wins, though. As soon as he gets in, his acceptance speech, he'll talk about the deficit.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
Coronavirus!
But they did go over their climate plan. I mean, their COVID plan. And I think on that front, you can expect Biden and Kamala to do better, just because I don't think you can get much worse than what Trump's done.
Yeah, exactly.
The big claim.
It's like you have to try to do as bad as he's done.
Jamie, the big claim that Trump did, or Trump keeps going back to, and Pence kept saying it tonight, was I shut down travel from China.
Yeah, that's such a dumb thing to claim because she called him out on it too, right? 40,000 people got in after that.
Yeah, and then even that. Okay, it's a global pandemic.
Also,
shut down.
The infections in New York came from Italy, right? Like the infections in America were Italian infections, not even Chinese.
Yes, it's a global pandemic. What is shutting down travel from China gonna do for the epicenter of the outbreak in New York?
It's just talking points, man.
That's exactly what it is. It doesn't. And then by now, I think people are already tired of the talking points, just because we're having been dealing with this stupid thing for the better part of a year now.
Yeah, they're getting their asses kicked. Like they're getting.
I mean,
hammered.
At this point, do you mean I'm? There's still a part of me that's hesitant to just call it but if it was any other year, if it was any other candidate or anything like that, I'd feel pretty confident right now. I mean, if this was Bernie, say it wasn't Biden, but it was Bernie with a 16-point lead at this point, I'd feel fine. I'd feel like, all right, we got this.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's Biden and that he knows how to just shoot himself in the foot so well, and he is a walking gaff machine, his brain's melting. It just it leaves me a little hesitant to just call it for him already.
I don't know, man. Like I said, he's not winning it. Like his strategy's working, man. Like his strategy is just to not do anything, like not take an opinion on anything, just hang back. And Trump is doing it to himself, man. Like he's just couldn't possibly be making worse decisions. I mean, I guess he could, he could be killing more people or whatever, but it's just like he's going out of his way to do it. What was I looking for? Why did I go to my page? I can't remember. Damn it. Oh, that thing from Phil. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Where the hell is that? That was funny. I was really hoping he was going to reference that Tupac shit.
Well, I mean, that was set up before the debate. It was a real story, right? The Tupac thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Kamala made this claim that her favorite rapper alive was Tupac, or is Tupac, and
Yeah.
so Pence and Trump, right, the campaign, put a seat for Tupac in the debate. I mean, it's such
that's a pretty good
childish
troll.
shit by now when you're dealing with what you're dealing with.
All right, let's look at Phil's thread.
All right.
I don't know what's going to happen in the next few months, but I expect it to be bad. Here I want to trace a few of the possibilities. What's the background? One possibility is that no, despite all the concrete actions and public statements and careful reporting, a Republican plan to steal the election does not in fact exist. It's fake news. Another possibility is that it won't succeed, and he dies and it's called off. This guy said that he's not getting involved. The army. I'm not going to read all this. So, the Red Mirage, he's going to claim he wins, and then the rest of the votes come in on election night. And, yeah, I mean, I don't see anything wrong with this. Like, I think this is what's going to happen. This is exactly...
What do you think?
Like, up until here, I think this is exactly right. It's going to be challenged in all the courts. They're going to try to stop the counting as much as possible.
Yeah, I mean, I have no doubt about that either. They're not gonna accept the votes as they are, especially if Biden wins on mail-in votes. It's not gonna happen.
He is with you though. Like he wants to arm the left. It sounds like.
Bro,
arm leftists strategically guarding protesters and discouraging attackers, helping to go until we can oust them.
Well, okay. Well, let's go there then. Let's just talk about it. If Trump refuses to go, if he refuses to go ahead and say, all right, and I'm going to take the L here. I'm going to take the L. If he refuses to do that, what do you think would actually happen?
That's what I'm saying. That's what this thread is.
No, like for you, what do you think would actually happen? Because since we're discussing it.
What do you mean? Like, what's the exact situation? It all depends on the details. Like, it all depends on the specifics, like the absolute specific. If it happens in this sequence of events, it could change the outcome. I think it has to be. It'd be hard to pull off. Like, it would have to be. All right, so if he loses, like.
No, he's lost, and let's say let's say it was that Kyle scenario that you laid out. So, Trump was up on the night, and then once the mail-in ballots came in, Biden won. Right? And the shit is straight. You mean legitimately, Biden won, and Trump is just refusing to leave and accept the results.
Yeah, I think that's. I don't see how that doesn't happen. Like, unless he loses on election day too, which he might. Like, he might get his ass kicked.
He might, because it's really. I mean, the race right now, according to the polls. Sorry, polls over a lot of people are bullshit, but yeah, according to the polls,
uncut the
it's not even
polls.
close. It's really not even close in the polls. Whereas with Trump and Hillary, it was close. Even down to the election day. I mean, they predicted that Hillary was going to win nationwide by about 3%, and the polls were right about that. So she did win the popular vote by 3%. What it came down to was the battleground states. He's losing in those battleground states
Mm-hmm.
badly in a lot of them. So
No.
when it so even if he doesn't win, even if Biden doesn't win on election night, if he wins later, he it the way Trump is going about it is giving him room to go ahead and reject the results. And we've never been in a situation where somebody's not just straight up accepted the result or refused to take the L.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it gonna be? What does that scenario look like? I mean, do the MPs arrest him and escort him out of the freaking White House? I mean,
I think he'll exhaust his. Like, he'll try to stay in the White House as long as possible. Like, he'll try to pretend that he's, like, challenging it, and he will be challenging it. But,
Right.
like, I don't think that's going to be the scenario, though. I don't think it's going to be that clear cut. Like, you remember, it's got to be, like, every single state. Like, they can't stop the count. Like, remember what happened in Bolivia? They, like, stopped the count because it was the
Right.
end of the day.
Yeah.
And that's when the coup happened. They were like, "Oh, you shouldn't have stopped the count. Why is that shady?" Like, because they said that after the count resumed, the ratio that the score went up changed. Right? They said that like Lula,
Right, yeah,
not
there
Lula.
was
What's
a-
his name? What the hell's the guy's name? Can't remember now. Anyway, they said that it was, just an unnatural steep climb afterwards. That's the kind of thing they'll expect them to do, right?
Right.
I don't think anybody's watching anyway, by the way. Who keeps giving us a thumbs down? What kind of a douchebag?
I don't know who comes in and just does that.
I know. What the fuck?
Well, it says we have 6 views, but anyway, maybe we should just go ahead.
Yeah,
and
let's wrap
read
it up.
Yeah.
I gotta finish the episode.
All right. So
Yeah, I mean, takeaways.
yeah, this is where we wrap it up on our takeaways then.
Yeah, I don't think anything matters. Nothing changes.
I don't think this is going to be important to the overall.
Exactly.
I think
Just
if
like-
anything, it's going to continue the downward spiral that Trump is on.
Yeah, I think if he doesn't die, like I still think he's gonna die. I think he feels better because the drugs are treating his symptoms, and he even said
Right.
it. Like I think I tweeted it earlier. Like for me, they're not. They say it's just a treatment, but for me, I think it cured me. Like I feel so much better or whatever. I'm like that's not how it works, bro. Like your symptoms
No.
don't hurt at the moment. Like your lungs aren't inflamed, but it's
You're
not.
on massive steroids, dude.
The drugs are still in your system. I mean, the virus is still in your body. It's like eating your lungs out. Like you can't stop that aspect of it, right? I saw that he tested positive for an antibodies, so like something's working. His body is fighting it off, but
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm still gonna refer to the Herman Cain timeline.
exactly. I'll be shocked if
that
he
is-
doesn't die. Like I'm banking on him
but
dying.
The timeline for it is it's funny though because where he would wrap up where he would end up passing away is like right on election night.
Yeah, or like right afterwards. So
Yeah.
they do the coup. That's where I think I tweeted that too. It was like the funniest version would be that if they do the coup and then he dies like a week later or whatever, and then they're stuck with like nobody to hold the throne. Like
I mean,
and like
imagine
Mayor
having
Pete
Pence-
leads like a security team to go in and like retake the
Right.
White House. Like
Yeah,
that would be so
Can
sick.
you imagine Trump passes away and then Pence has to serve out the lame duck and they're still trying to push through the Supreme Court pick?
Yeah, that's the other thing. That
And you know the other thing I was gonna mention was
that's the
you
answer.
see-
For me to say that, that's the answer Kamala should have had that she didn't have. It's like
What's that?
when they talk about the Supreme Court, you should say, "Listen, motherfucker, these people are hurting. There's 50 million unemployed. You haven't passed the goddamn stimulus check. Like,
And
Get
Trump
back to
just shut
me.
down conversations.
Exactly. Be like, if you want to talk about a Supreme Court justice, don't you think it's highly irresponsible of you to try to ram that shit through when all these people out here are suffering? Like, how could you? How dare you?
Yes.
Like, that's what I would
Yes.
say. Like, that's the
Yeah.
only answer that's any good at all. And they should
Because
say it
well,
ad
they
nauseum,
turned they turned it into
reminding
a
people.
conversation about court packing.
Because that's what Republicans are trying to pivot to, because that's all they can. It's like people they don't care. Like he's trying to scare you and say, oh, he's going to add 2 more justices to the Supreme Court. As
I'd
if
be like,
that's terrifying
okay.
thought. Like who cares about that?
I really don't care about that. Like, do it. Do it. Fuck it.
Martha
Put 2 people
McSally
on
did the
there.
same thing last night. She kept trying to pivot to, because Mark Kelly was saying what I'm saying, basically. He was saying, like, you've passed the stimulus, and then we'll talk about the Supreme Court justice. And she kept trying to be like court packing, and it's like, who even knows what that even ramifications that are? You're just trying to fearmonger on the unknown. Like, he wants to change the way things are now, currently. Like, that's the threat. It's such a dumb threat. Who cares about
Yeah.
that? Like, only like very online chuds care about shit like that. You know, like Ben Shapiro fans. Like, it's not like a mainstream, like, you know, like middle-aged white people in the suburbs issue. You know.
No. It's crazy the stuff that they pivot to for me.
They treat tax cuts, the
Yeah.
troops, and calling you a radical in some fashion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the more they try to paint them as a radical again, it just like, okay, if because I keep thinking about it, how would an actual leftist have handled, like, say it was Nina Turner debating Pence?
Yeah. She would have defended the policies, and Pence wouldn't have any. What would Pence even have had? What
Be
kind
like,
of comeback could he had?
well, I mean,
That's
he
what I'm
would have
saying.
probably
That's
kept
why
saying,
it drives
"You're
me
a
so
radical
nuts.
leftist.
That's what I'm
You're
saying.
one of the left."
That's what I mean. It's like they keep running away from these policies that are like 70-30 policies. They're all
Yes.
like majority
And I
of the
think
country, a plurality, you know, or
Right.
majority, I'm sorry.
No, that's a clear majority. But
Yeah.
what is what would like if I think that's what probably Nina Turner would have probably responded. But like, these are 70-30 policies.
I missed her. Did we bookmark her response on healthcare? Because I thought she had a good, decent response
Yeah,
on
the-
that too. Because usually they
one
do the
about the
same
ACA,
thing.
right?
Like the lady in Arizona was kept trying to fearmonger about the public option, and it was just it was like, oh, you're gonna have private insurance competing against public insurance. That's never gonna work. Like, it'll drive the businesses out. It'll drive them out of business. Like, it just didn't make any sense.
Okay,
Like,
good.
it was just
It's like, okay, good. Fuck the private insurances. They're stupid anyway. Oh, they're just a bunch of price gougers.
well, yeah. I mean, she probably would have gotten applause if she had done that. We know 70% of the country, over 50% of Republicans, or right around 50% of Republicans, and 89% of Democrats support Medicare for all. Like,
Yes.
what?
So,
why are you not? I mean, we
and
know
I mean,
why
that
they're
would have
not,
been,
but
it's the funny thing to me is it's hard to kind of. Well, I mean, it's just a funny thing because the Pence would have came with the same attacks he came against Kamala to Nina Turner. It wouldn't have changed. It would have still been,
this
you're a
part's
radical
funny.
leftist. Okay.
He goes, our air and land are cleaner than they've ever been. Like, who
Oh
told you
my-
that, bro? No one said that. No one even, like, fake said that, dude.
I mean, we had half the country on
I'm very
fire
proud
at
of our
one
record on
point.
the
2
environment and
hurricanes
on
hitting the Gulf
conservation.
Coast at the same time.
According to all of the best estimates, our
the
air
best
and land are
estimates.
cleaner than any time ever recorded. And the water is among the cleanest in the world. And just a
Those
little
are
while
all
ago,
lies.
The president signed the Outdoors Act. It's the largest investment in our public lands and public parks
And
in
what's this
100
big
years.
attack?
So
Fracking.
President Trump has made a commitment to conservation and to the environment. Now, with regard to climate change, the climate is changing. But the issue is,
The climate is
cause?
changing. What's
What
the
do we do about
cause? What do we do about
President
it?
Trump has made it clear that we're going to continue to listen to the science. Now, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris would put us back in the Paris Climate Accord.
Yes.
They imposed the Green New Deal, which would crush American energy, would increase
Kamala's
the
just
energy
smiling at
costs of
him.
American families in their homes, and literally would crush American jobs. And President Trump and I believe that the progress that we have made in a cleaner environment has been happening
bet you he's a
precisely
dirty fighter.
because we have a strong free market economy. You know, what's remarkable is the United States has reduced CO2 more than the countries that are still in the Paris Climate Accord, but we've done it through innovation, and we've done it through natural gas and fracking, which, Senator, the American people can go look at the record. I know Joe Biden says otherwise now, as you do, but the both
He's
of you
so
repeatedly committed
uncharismatic.
to abolishing fossil
Biden
fuel
is
and
so
banning
pro
fracking.
fracking. That
And
was
so
two
by
of the
creating
biggest
the kind of
moments in the
American innovation,
primary where he was
we're
like,
actually
"I'm not
steering
going to
toward
ban
a stronger
fracking."
and
He's like, I
better
love
environment.
fracking.
With
I
regard to
love fracking. We need
wildfires,
fracking.
President
No,
Trump
I don't
and I
like no
believe
Green
that
New Deal.
forest management has
Come on,
to
Jack.
be front and center, and even Governor Gavin Newsom from your state has agreed we've got to work on forest management. And with regard to hurricanes, the National Oceanic Administration tells us that actually, as difficult as they are,
Thank you, Vice President.
there are no more hurricanes today than
That's
there
such
were
bullshit.
100 years
There's
ago.
so many hurricanes,
But many of
man.
the
There's so
climate
many
alarms
hurricanes.
use
Like,
hurricanes
who are you
and
gonna believe,
wildfires
me or the
to try and
Thank you,
set
hurricane
Vice
coming right
dividends
at
of
you,
a Green
Gulf
New
Coast?
Deal.
I
And
want to see
President
somebody fact check that. Like,
I
there's
mean, I
so
would
many
like to
lies
see
in
a
that
live
segment.
fact check. Who was doing the debate, by the way? I didn't even pay attention.
Who, that lady?
Yeah, what major news network is she from?
USA Today's Washington bureau chief Susan Page.
Okay. Oh, okay. So I mean, these are the
She
general
wasn't
election ones. I
bad.
think they're not unique to one platform, right? They're playing them across multiple.
Yeah, I mean, they'll probably have the next one will probably be CNN, though, I bet.
Yeah, we'll probably be having Anderson Cooper, but the big question is, what kind of shape you think Trump is gonna be in by the 15th?
That's what I'm saying. They'll probably try to push it back. Like, I don't think he's going to try to do it, right? But if he doesn't do any rallies and shit the whole time he's sick and then comes out, I don't know. I don't know what'll happen. Maybe it'll be a deep fake. Maybe they'll do it on Zoom.
You're gonna have like a what do you call it, like that movie Dave? Gonna roll out and debate
Yeah,
Biden.
he definitely has a body double. Like, he's not like he's a pretty
All right, hit the
calming look.
conspiracy button.
He's
You
a
gotta
pretty
hit the
common
conspiracy
looking
button.
dude, man. But like,
Yes, so Trump's body
that's
double.
something that is presidents have that, right? Like, presidents have body doubles. Like, we know they do.
I mean, I've never really thought about it until, I mean, Obama had a body double too.
Yeah, I think they all do. Let's see. Presidential.
I don't know about that. I mean, I don't think there's like a full-on body double. I mean, look at the when all the things I've seen of Trump lately. I mean, it's him. I mean,
I
it
saw
might
one
be a
that
deep
wasn't
fake.
him.
No way.
This way.
I wouldn't say that any of these things have been fake, except for that maybe the recordings that have been put out. I'm thinking maybe those could have been deep fakes, or at least at minimum edited in a very stupid way. But no. Well, okay, so
It's on Quora. Let's see what they have to say.
what are you gonna put?
It's on Quora. Let's see what they have to say.
All right, let's see.
It's very unlikely. How could he be controlled? I don't know. That sounds like us Feds saying that. These
Yeah,
all
I mean,
sound like Feds. This
well, you
is,
seen those other Fed tweets that say, "Okay, who's Antifa? Yo, what's up, Antifa people?" I'm like, Jesus.
did you see that thing where they changed the rules for that duck contest, where you had to put hunting equipment in the picture now? They were like, The way they get stamps for there's like some Fish and Wildlife, Department of Fish and Wildlife putting out stamps, and it was like an annual duck painting contest.
Uh-huh.
So they changed the rules so that it had to have hunting equipment in it. So all the submissions were like shell casings lying around with ducks, and like one guy had like a duck call in the background floating in the water. It's pretty
Oh.
dystopian. I don't know why they would do that. It seems like such a bad idea.
So, all right. So anyway, what do you think?
Let's get out of here.
Yeah, let's go ahead and wrap up. But to sum it up, then yeah, Kamala pretty much took this one. Not sure it's gonna have much of an impact on the election. I mean, you can't really get too much further ahead than Biden is as far as polling. And Pence is just continue this failed strategy of trying to go ahead and make Kamala look cooler by tying her to the far left. I mean, she's
folks, the radical left Democrats.
She's tied herself to a couple of policies that are popular, and then she's distanced himself in the primaries we saw. So
what if Kamala got based if they won? She's like, I know you thought I was America's top cop, but I'm actually America's baddest bitch, and we're gonna do some fucking socialism.
Okay, like if she does like a full face turn after all the shit that she pulled to try to get elected in the first place in the primary, okay, I wouldn't care. If she went ahead and she said Medicare for all, Green New Deal, and decided to do all that shit, I'm 100% in support of her presidency.
Fuck yeah, dude. What, I don't hold grudges. Like, if you do something good, I'm still... These aren't our friends. These are, like, tools that their interests might align with ours at some point. They're not, like... We have no... They don't owe us anything. We don't owe them anything. They're going after their own agenda. And if it happens to coincide with ours once in a while, great. We'll say nice things about them. But, like...
Right.
You can't anticipate, like, you can't expect them to do anything, and I mean, just be lucky with what we get.
There was a thing that they put, right? They said about you shouldn't stand politicians.
Yeah, of course not.
And what I put was, all right, you know what? I might stand a politician because they're in favor of getting me Medicare for all and Green New Deal. As soon as they don't do that, then I don't stand you anymore. I don't want nothing to do with you. You're a sellout.
I think "stan" is the wrong word because I'm not a fan of that. Like, I guess that's not right. Stan is somebody who's not
objective.
Like, yeah, exactly. Like, you don't judge them.
Like, so you're talking like a
toll cell.
House,
yeah, exactly. Like, you just everything they do, you spin to be good.
Yeah. See, and that's not what I want to do. If I will criticize any of these politicians I'll criticize Bernie, AOC, Rashida, any of them if they do something that I disagree with. But for the most part, if these little stupid things, I guess that's why I said that was because these little stupid things they try to hold against them, like Mama Bear and whatever else. It's inconsequential to me. Just give me the policies and just stick by your guns.
Irony poisoned internet people. Don't pay any attention to them. They're probably all like 19 years old. mad that their college is on Zoom now.
But anyway, we gotta thank.
Oh man, I failed out of my Zoom college.
Well, everybody, we gotta thank y'all for stopping in, checking us out on replay wherever you go ahead and stop in with us. We appreciate that. Go ahead, man. Like and subscribe. Why don't you? We're cool. We come out here and do our shows every. Well, we're trying to do them every night, but we'll do them as often as we can. You can follow the show at unelectable on Twitter. Follow me at _20 Westside, or follow my boy here, DJ Tom Hanks.
What up? Hanks out.
All right, and we're out.
Later. Shit, where's the thing? I was gonna tweet that shit about Zoom.